So, if you've seen a recent post, I have dislocated my knee. You might be wondering, how did that happen? Well, I got a new video game, and I went to my game room, and I make it over or different changes I'm not going to know about since I never played the first game. Well, not entirely true, because, well, wait up, quick little story. It all starts when I went over to a friend's house once, and, well, they had the first game, and I played a few rounds with the friend, and just so you know, I sucked. I didn't win a single round. I guess technically I did win one, but, like, my friend, like, used the controller I was borrowing and made the characters I was winning. I think I was Inosuke and Giyu. But, like, they won with the characters I picked. But they said I won. That doesn't even count. I sucked, though. I actually really did like the game, you know? It was really fun. when I left that day, I thought a few things. Like, number one, I wish, maybe I gotta stay for another hour. But the second thing, I think I want that game for myself. And I was gonna do it, but the sequel got announced. I'm with more characters and more content. So I'm like, I should just get the sequel. It's gonna have more characters, so get the sequel. Fun fact, that's the same day I got my Sonic 3 Sonic figure. Oh. No, it was like the day after, so. Well, time to get into the review. So now that we're getting into a review now, we can go over the game. And the game has 5 modes. Story, versus mode, online matches, the Path of a Demon Slayer, and training path. So we can start with the first mode, story mode. That goes over the Entertainment District and the Swordsmith Village arc, which is pretty good. And finally, the Hashira Training arc, which I probably sucked at. Also in the story mode, Path of a Demon Slayer, I believe you can do big fights that were in the previous game that were not in this game, which I find are pretty cool. In the training, you just go through a Hashira training. You basically just train with all the Hashiras, and you choose a difficulty when you select your Hashira. Even some changes to the story, which I found were pretty darn interesting. Like, we all know when Mucho was training with Sanemi and Obanai during the night in the Hashira training. Very nice. We saw Mucho kick Obanai and Sanemi's butt. But in the Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles 2 game, well, a pretty big twist happens, which kind of does change it up quite a bit. Which was not in the original story. That, honestly, this change took me by surprise the first time I played it. I had to pause the game when I really did this one. It starts normal, I guess it goes off with Mucho after kicking both of their butt. But then a big twist happens, is that Tanjiro followed Obanai here. Which, honestly, it's pretty darn sick. I kind of wish this happened in the original story. But, the original story worked fine. And so basically, after that, you just have to fight Mucho and Obanai together, which is still a pretty good fight. I found it very challenging and very nice. Sanemi just decides to dip out, though. He's like, you ain't worth my time. But yeah, basically, that is how you fight Obanai Mucho. And that's how I guess that's how you pass Obanai's training. And the battles in this game, they are not pushovers. Basically, these are like the complete opposite of a Pokemon game, where Pokemon, especially some new good games like X and Y, they will kind of hold your hand through these battles. But you really actually have to focus on these battles. Like, sometimes when I look away, I'm less than half my HP in, which is where the gears come in, where if you can see next to Tanjiro's health, see 3 little icons, which are basically gears. That, I don't know if they were in the first game, but, well, they're in this game, and I can say that they can really make a difference in your combat. An important thing is, never just try and be stronger. You gotta dodge, you gotta block, you gotta do all of that. Like, when you're in the zone, you are in the zone. And a great leading point is to hold your block button, do a charge at it. It breaks their shield, because your opponents, they will be blocking. You don't really get to select if you want your opponents on normal, easy, or hard. No, they are in a set determined style, and you gotta basically do it how you want it. Or how they want it. And luckily, you get a gauge where you fill up. You get a little boost, so, that's helpful. But don't waste it, because then you just wasted a lot. And there's 2 ways to charge it. Number 1, kick the butt out of your opponent, or let your opponent kick your butt. Just pretty simple ways to do it. And I believe there's even some gear power-ups that will allow you. And an important thing is, never try and plus your opponent's getting a invincibility section. So when that happens, just start getting away from them, because that's when they're just gonna basically use that as their advantage to kick your butt, which is not good. But luckily, I've learned better. And one thing I love is that you truly feel like you got better at the game. Basically, you never felt like you got worse. You only felt like you got better and better at the game. Because if you're being too reckless, you're gonna get you're getting dead. But if you're good at the game, that means you're gonna do very well. It feels like you're actually growing as a fighter, and you're becoming more better at fighting. And if you remember from a game called Sonic Unleashed, quick time events, also known as QTs, this game will also have them when you get your opponents in story mode down to a like I believe more than halfway done, which also can help because then you don't have to get the entire health bar down. You just have to get to a certain point at the red where there's going to be a little red line. And when you do that, it seems, they're just going to back up, fight, cutscene happens. Gonna go traditionally. You better remember where your buttons are, or you better make sure you're fast enough to where you can look both at the screen and the buttons and press that button at the right time. Because as you can see, you get ready, do it, press the button, and boom, you got it. Now we get to my favorite part, the combat, the versus mode. And we can always see we have a great variety of characters. We are missing like Canal, but still, a very nice roster of characters we have. There's a nice variety of stages, but they really don't mean much. The stage you choose, it's not determining the battle, not at all. And now, time for the combat itself, which the combat in this game, it's perfect. I have no complaints with it. So basically, you pick 2 characters, and your buddies help each other out. You have to hold one button on one controller, which I'm using the Switch controller. So you have to hold your L button, you switch over, and even if you can spot a 2 gauge, then basically that means you can do a dodge, which basically means if you're in a moment, you tilt your joystick, press L, and you're out of there, which is very nice. And a lot of other things. And you gotta make sure to not waste those ultimates, because now we have ultimate attacks. You only have an ultimate attack in the battle with Mitsuri and Zohakton. The first one. The second one, you don't even have it. But still really good. And like I said, the switching characters is amazing. And unlike in story mode, you can choose how difficult you want your CPUs to be. Do you want them to be easy, like trivial? Do you want them to be hard? Or do you want them to be a nice, just normal challenge? And also, you can choose your opponents. But also, they will block you a lot. So, like I said, don't waste your moves on them. And like I said, each character has an ultimate. And it's really nice. Are they broken? Yes. That's probably why, well, you can't always guarantee to hit. Best way, have them in a combo already. And use that to your advantage. To use them. Really nice. It just helps get the job done. And always, and like I just said in Yuichi Type 0 fight, as soon as your opponent gets that little phase where they're on the ground, you can't hit them, always make sure to get away from them. And if you just think, oh, I'll just keep blocking them, you can't. Your shield does not last forever. They can break through it. Like I said, that charge up rush, that ain't gonna last forever. That's a great way to break the shield. It's just, so yeah, don't rely on the block. Like you just saw a dodge happen thanks to my boy Gyu. And there's a lot of fun things you do need to kind of learn about the combat in this game. Like, they can block it. Like you don't just have to make sure you can actually hit your ultimate. You gotta make sure they will not dodge it and block it. And if you hold your block button and hit your normal attack button, you get a cool little animation where you just smack them into the floor or something like that. Or just keep slicing. But like I said, combat in this game's perfect. I compare this game to Smash Bros. A lot, and honestly, I like this more than Smash Bros. It's just fun, fluid, and amazing. Also, if you press the L button real quick, you get your just amazing. It's just an all-around amazing map. And even when you get like a little fun, and even some characters get a little fun interaction, like just right here, he's like all pumped up seeing Gyu, and Gyu just said, "Can he shut his mouth?" And you get a rank after every battle, which is pretty cool, and I like it. And you get characters level up, really cool. And some characters will have 2 ultimates, like here's Rengoku's first ultimate, which was the one he used in the first game, which is basically his 9th form. That he used against Akaza. That was basically the big hype moment. And now you can absolutely destroy your friends with it, which is pretty cool. And then for his second one, it basically uses his 5th form, Flame Tiger. But first you do get a cooler animation. I am glad you do get the opportunity to switch between the 2, to choose which one you want, which one you don't want. Because I would rather use the 9th form because it's cooler, but still really nice to have 2. The way you can tell if someone has 2 ultimates is to basically go at them, and go to the little bar at the bottom, press either your ZR button, and they will switch up the ultimate. To tell if they don't, they'll just have nothing. And some characters, like the demons, will only have a one character next to it, which you can't have a partner. And some characters actually have alternate costumes you can choose from, which I find to be pretty cool. And alternate looks will carry over to your ultimate attacks. And some characters will actually have dual ultimate, which I find pretty cool. A few missed potentials, like we don't have one with Tanjiro and Giyu, Tanjiro and Inosuke, Tanjiro and Zenitsu. But the ones we have, they still make very much good sense, like Obonai and Sanemi, Rengoku and Tanjiro. Still, we get ones that make good sense. And if you even decide to finish off your opponent with a cool ultimate, then you even get a cool little piece where, right when you're about to end it, you get a cool little screenshot of them saying something. So, in conclusion, I love this game. It's really fun. The combat is amazing. The story's pretty good. Not as good as, from the show, but still really nice. It's an all-around amazing game. I don't like it more than like Sonic Frontiers, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but those are like my favorite games of all time. And, well, it's not my favorite video game that has nothing with Pokemon or Sonic. Heck, any Sonic game that's not in my top 10, I like this game more. That says a lot, because I play those games a lot, and I like it more than half the Pokemon games. The only two I can feel like I like more are Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. Really nice. Oh, sorry, I mean Legends Arceus. But yeah, I really hope more DLC comes, more characters come. I think some characters like Yorichi, Kokushibo, Canal should be playable in later updates. Or, they're just going to make Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles 3 and just entirely Infinity Castle. Really, really love this game. I really think this game might be Game of the Year. Well, it only has 2 competitions, Sonic Racing Crossroads and Legends EA. Out of those 3, this was the one I was least excited for, but honestly, I love this game so much. My favorite game that's nothing with Sonic or Pokemon, and it might beat these 2. But that's it, and I'll see you all in the next video.